So this is our review. What I want to look at today specifically is 15, construct a rectangle and patty paper. 16, construct a square using a compass and a straight edge. 17, construct a kite with a square using a mirror. Okay, so first things first, let's make a rectangle with patty paper. Okay, so I'm hopefully going to show this as well as I can on here. It doesn't always show perfect. Okay, so what's the first thing we always do with patty paper? We're always making that straight line, right? So we're drawing a straight line somewhere on the patty paper. And remember, with the patty paper, you want to draw on the rough side if at all possible. And I'm going to make sure when I draw this that my line is parallel to the top of the paper. Okay. Now I want to make a line, that is perpendicular to this. So I am going to fold one end of this, not halfway, just a little bit up. I know that they overlap and that the side of my patty paper ends up for it, so I know I have a perpendicular edge. Okay? So now I'm going to trace this line, but I'm just going to trace it down a little ways. Everybody good so far? I didn't make it the same length. All right, now I'm going to do the same thing where I'm going to fold this side up. So my new line that I drew, I'm going to make a line that's perpendicular to it. So I fold it so that my paper ends up even on the sides and my line overlaps. So I folded this little bit of this line at the bottom. I folded it up, made sure they overlapped, creased my paper. Do you see how now I have a 90 degrees right here too? So see, I made this 90 degrees by folding this part up. I made this 90 degrees by folding this part up. And now I'm literally going to fold both of these ends over. And I've made two more 90 degrees. I've made a line that's perpendicular to both lines so they're parallel to each other. So if you wanted full credit on this, I'm going to show you with a colored pencil where my folds are. So I drew a line, and then I folded it in, creating this line. And then I folded this part up, creating this line. And then I folded these part in, creating this line. So I need fold 1, 2, and 3 to get full credit on this. Okay, remember I am recording this so you can watch it again. All right, the next thing we're going to do is, here we go. We are going to construct a square using a compass or a straight edge. And a straight edge. So I've got my compass. First thing I always start with though, right, is a straight line. So on my paper, you guys can do this on notebook paper, wherever. We're going to start with a straight line. Do I need to pause for a second so you guys can get all your stuff out? You're focused, we're doing. And I'm just going to label this so I remember square with compass. Okay, what do we know about a square? It has 4 equal sides. What else? They meet at 90-degree angles. Do we know anything about the diagonals? They're congruent and perpendicular. So I think the easiest thing is going to be is to create the diagonals and then connect the outsides to make the square. Does that make sense? The process that I'm going through? So the first thing I'm going to do is make a perpendicular bisector. So that means I take my compass, I put it on one of the endpoints of my segment, I make sure my compass is more than halfway, and then I draw a nice big arc. Okay. And then I don't change the length of my compass, but I put the pointy end on the other side of the segment. You guys gotta tell me if I need to slow down, right? So far, so good? Okay, so I'm gonna make another big arc. Who knows what I'm gonna do next? Draw a line down the middle. What, Kayla? You're good? Okay. Now the issue with this is I have to make sure the diagonals are all equal. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my compass right in the middle, and I'm going to measure the length from the intersection to the endpoint, and I want them not to be any longer than that. You could kind of do like a whole circle around the outside if you wanted. See these points right here that I made? Those are what need to be connected. And we will end up with a square. Now, if you made them not equal, you could end up with a rhombus or with a kite. So see, that's a nice 90-degree angle right here, right? And it's because I made sure all the sides, all the diagonals are equal. And then there's my square. We got a 90 degrees here, 90 degrees here. And I can even turn it sideways, if that helps. See, that's a pretty good square. How are you feeling about this? Good? So you want me to write down the steps next to it that we did? Just so you guys kind of have a reminder? 1. What's the first thing we did? Draw a line. Shh. 2, what did I do next? Made a perpendicular bisector, right? I'm going to just do a little quick thing of how to do that. So I put pointy end on end of segment. Made compass bigger than halfway, draw arc. So you don't have to write it out in this much detail. If you want to say, you know, make a perpendicular bisector and you remember how to do that, that's fine. Then switch to other endpoint, make arc, connect, where two arcs cross with line. Okay? So if you remember, like, I know how to do a perpendicular bisector, just write that. That's fine. This is just making sure we know how to do that for everybody. Okay? Step 3. Make sure all lines are equal by putting pointy end in intersection of diagonals. And I'm going to make a circle. And then step 4 is just going to be connect endpoints. Yep. Okay. So when I did this and like marked how big they are, you could just put a nice circle all the way around. That's kind of easier to say, and then connect those. Okay, I like to write the steps down. I think it's helpful for when you look at this, you know, tonight to study for tomorrow. Kind of gives you an idea. All right, are we ready to create a, what are we creating? We're going to make a kite with a mirror. No, not ready, but we're going to do it anyways. Okay, I'm going to move this up. Again, I can put that back up there when I'm done with this part. So that's already, sorry guys, that's set to the half-day schedule. We'll fix it in a second. Yep. So we always start with a straight line. Okay, then I'm going to take my mirror, and I'm going to pull this up a little bit so that my mirror fits underneath this. And I'm going to move it so that when I look through and see my reflection, it goes right on top of my line. And then I'm simply going to draw one side is going to start small, and the other side is going to be larger. So see how I made like a big cross? Okay. And then I'm just connecting my endpoints. And I have a kite. So I hear lots of talking, but nobody has raised their hand and asked a question or said a question out loud. And it needs to stop now. Okay, yes. Want me to go over the whole thing again? Okay. So we simply draw a straight line, right? Now I'm going to put my mirror so that I can see this line through it. I'm going to match it up perfectly. Okay? And then I draw a line where it's bigger on the bottom than it is on the top. And then you just connect the endpoints. That's it. And you have a kite. Because kites have perpendicular diagonals where these are equal. So that's perpendicular, and it meets right here. But this one is much shorter than that one. Questions? This is kite with mirror. Okay, you guys can work on the rest of your review. This part number 18 right here, I've got graph paper still up here if you want to use it. You can use old graph paper you have to be able to do this, but you're going to again have to find the lengths, the slopes, the lengths and slopes of the diagonals, the midpoints of the diagonals, and tell me what shape it is. Okay? Here you're answering a lot of fill in the blank questions. You're going to do stuff with contrapositive, inverse, converse, that kind of a thing. If then stuff. Okay, and remembering some qualities of shapes. If you have any questions, please let me know.